Once upon a time, in the late 18th century, a young nation was born out of rebellion. The United States of America. In 1776, 13 British colonies declared independence from the mighty British Empire. No one could have guessed then that this small, fragile group of states would one day become the most powerful country the world had ever seen. But how did it happen? Let's take a journey through history to understand how the USA became a superpower. After winning the Revolutionary War in 1783, the United States was still a baby nation. The USA was mostly rural, with a small population, a weak economy, and constant conflict with Native Americans and foreign powers like Britain, France, and Spain. But America had three powerful weapons. 1. Massive land, full of natural resources. 2. Hard-working immigrants, pouring in from Europe. 3. A powerful idea, freedom, capitalism, and self-governance. By the 1800s, the US began expanding westward through the Louisiana Purchase, 1803, and later, the conquest of Mexican territory in 1848. It was growing in size, strength, and confidence. However, in the mid-1800s, America was almost torn apart by the Civil War. 1861–1865 fought over slavery. But after the North won, the country united with new energy, and entered the Industrial Age. The Industrial Boom, 1865–1918. After the Civil War, America changed. It became a land of steel, railroads, factories, and inventions. The late 19th century saw Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Railroads connect the East and West. Skyscrapers rise in New York and Chicago. Millions of immigrants came from Europe to work in the factories and build the American dream. The US became a manufacturing powerhouse, and by 1900, it had the world's largest economy. Then came the Spanish-American War in 1898. The US defeated Spain and gained control of Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. It was the first time America showed signs of becoming a global power. When World War I broke out in Europe in 1914, the US stayed out, at first. But by 1917, after German submarines attacked American ships, the US entered the war. And within a year, the powerful American military helped defeat Germany and its allies. This was a turning point. The US became a world power. Its army, navy, and economy showed their strength. American culture, technology, and ideas began spreading around the globe. But after the war, the US returned to isolation, avoiding foreign entanglements, until a new storm hit the world. When World War II started in 1939, the US again stayed neutral. But in 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. America declared war, and entered the deadliest conflict in human history. Over the next 4 years, the US did the unthinkable, supplied weapons and food to allied countries, built thousands of planes, ships, and tanks, sent millions of soldiers to Europe and the Pacific, developed the atomic bomb, and used it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. By 1945, the US had won the war, alongside Britain and the Soviet Union. But more importantly, it came out stronger than ever. Europe and Asia were in ruins. The Soviet Union was powerful but war-torn. Meanwhile, America's factories were booming, its cities untouched, and its military unmatched. The US now had the world's largest economy, a modern, powerful military, nuclear weapons, global influence. It had officially become a superpower. After World War II, two superpowers emerged, the USA and the Soviet Union. This led to the Cold War, a 45-year-long rivalry between capitalism and communism. The US led the Western Bloc, formed NATO for military alliance, rebuilt Europe with the Marshall Plan, created the United Nations, dominated the world's economy. It also fought wars in Korea and Vietnam to stop communism. At the same time, it landed a man on the moon in 1969, showing its technological superiority. The US built hundreds of military bases worldwide, controlled international trade, and spread American culture through Hollywood, fast food, music, and brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's. Finally, in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, and the US stood alone as the world's only superpower. After the Cold War, America remained dominant. Its economy grew stronger with Silicon Valley tech giants like Apple, Microsoft, and Google. But the 21st century brought new challenges. 9/11 attacks in 2001 shocked the world. Long wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, rise of China as a global rival, internal political divisions. Still, the US remains a superpower because of its strong military, largest defense budget in the world, its powerful economy, innovation, education, and entrepreneurship, cultural influence through media, and tech leadership in global organizations. The rise of the United States from 13 small colonies to a global superpower is a story of ambition, struggle, innovation, and leadership. It became a superpower not just through war, but through industry, ideas, and influence. And though new powers are emerging, the United States remains a symbol of power, freedom, and possibility for many around the world. From revolution to world domination, the story of America is one of the most extraordinary journeys in human history.